Greetings once again, folks. King Sadiq coming to you live. Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. And as I reported on another recent video, very pleased with the spread of the movement, right? And whatever reference or form it may take. Um, I just been seeing a lot of folks really on a high vibrational frequency, very accepting of peace, love, respect. And, sometimes I just sit back and observe and peep how they getting down with peace, love, respect, right? And it brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart. So, real quick though, I do need to build on a subject that quite a few folks have been tugging my sleeve to recently, or fairly recently, and that is the subject of energy vampirism. Let me do a quick pan around like I tend to do, folks. Um, Nice little wilderness area I've located here in the east side of Pittsburgh, PA. But yeah, energy vampirism. What were you talking about, King Sadiq? Not vampires. I am talking about people, not vampires in the sense that you may be thinking of in terms of your popular TV shows and movies, right? But I am talking about that thirst or that hunger, unfortunately, that needs to be quenched and desperately so sometimes, right? So, unfortunately, what we're talking about in this particular instance is the hunger or the thirst for low vibrational frequency energy. Right now, what do you mean by that, King Sadiq? So, what I mean is that human beings give off with their varying emotional output um, different vibrational frequencies, right? This has all been studied and measured. It used to be something considered esoteric or more of a niche type of science, but now it's a lot more commonplace than it has been in years past. But yeah, vibrational frequency is incredibly important, as even mainstream science will verify that nothing is completely at rest. All things are in motion at all times or in some vibration, right? Some vibrational frequency. And with human beings, our vibrational energy output, right? Because you're always putting out energy, um, is altered or sort of it depends upon our emotional states often, right? Different emotions or feelings give you different vibrational frequency energy output. So, for example, for a low vibrational frequency output, you're talking about feelings like anger and jealousy or envy. Uh, you're talking about fear is a really big one. Um, Apathy, shame, guilt. All those are feelings or emotions that will give you a very low vibrational frequency output, right? So at the other end of that spectrum, of course, you're talking about joy and happiness, acceptance, reason, right? um, uh, and when you vibrate or feel those what would commonly be termed positive feelings, you're giving out a much higher vibrational frequency output. So yeah, that's something that's um, people are having to deal with is different individuals in their lives, whether it be their personal life, like family members and so forth, or in their professional lives at their workplace or career. Um, you may encounter folks that always seem to embody that age old saying, misery loves company. They're misery walking right into the room every time. You can feel them. As soon as they step in the room, it's like the mood just goes down. Um, these unfortunate individuals are suffering from that energy vampirism, right? They have um, sort of a hole in their auric body or their energetic bodies that they're attempting to fill, right? And this often results from someone who is turned away from the love of the Creator, right? Because ultimately, that is the only thing that truly satisfies us, right? And really keeps us whole as an entity. And again, King Sadiq is not religious, but I'm very spiritual. We are spiritual beings that are utilizing our physical bodies as an interface with this physical reality, right? So it's very important for us to understand ourselves spiritually, right, and our connection with our Creator. Um, you know, I, Mainstream science, hey, give me the Big Bang Theory. You still have to have an alpha and omega. Where did those first particles come from? Where did that original energy come from for that Big Bang? What was the catalyst to bring it about, right? It all points you back to the Creator. So, yeah, but those unfortunate individuals who thrive off of, the fuss, the messiness, um, the type, unfortunately, that I'm talking about. Um, Most folks do know at least one person who fits that description, and those folks are often creating situations um, that are going to give off a very low vibrational frequency, right? They're the troublemakers, the instigators, the misery shares, the person who always loves to share with you or seems to love to share with you a negative story. The person who always has a negative story about something going on in their lives. The complainers, the people who are never satisfied and never seem to take the time to appreciate what they do have in life, but are always complaining about what they don't have or complaining that what they do have is not good enough. Um, yeah, those folks are energy vampires. And unfortunately, if you know someone like that who's close to you, because I mean, listen, we get in this mind state that, it's always somebody else, right? But it's got to be somebody's family. You ever, hear that phrase sometimes? Oh, that's somebody's daughter. Yeah, or that's somebody's dad or brother or cousin or uncle or aunt or mother or whatever. Unfortunately, folks have um, these people in their families, right? And they can cause havoc within the family, right? Some people consider them to be like very toxic or sort of poisonous to the family environment. When there's a family um, occasion going on, like a cookout or something like that, it should just be a peaceful, beautiful opportunity for folks to get together and be family and just love one another. There's always that one person, right, who brings the negativity in abundance, and unfortunately, that person is suffering from that energy vampirism, um, and we don't regard these folks as like enemies or um, look upon them negatively. I personally look upon them as someone who is suffering, right? Unfortunately. Now, I'm not going to allow them to infect me with their negativity or drag me down, because King Sadiq has always got to maintain a high vibrational frequency, right? Fortunately, I'm just blessed to be at a point that I do not allow anything to mess up my day. Really? Yeah, really. I've seen a lot in my day. I've seen a lot in my day. I'll just leave it at that. Um, and am I ever surprised or shocked? Sometimes, sure. Unfortunately, there are things that both positive and negative um, can surprise or shock me or anybody. But you don't have to stay resonating in any sort of a low frequency. And I've learned that. But there are people who will, again, agitate and poke at you and try and draw you down into those low frequencies because they're feeding off of that. Sadly, I mean, really, I have just as much empathy for them as I have for a drug addict out here. Um, you know, yeah, it's I don't want to call it a disease necessarily, but then again, it is a disease because what is a disease? It's dis-ease, right? It's dis-ease within your energetic or auric body. So they are sick, yeah, you know. So let's treat them, right? I always like to look at solutions. Well, treat them how, King Sadiq? Give them the medicine of love, baby, right? Peace, love, respect is so powerful, not only as a movement, but just in our daily lives and practices. Um, Treat them with love, give them acceptance, give them a ton of patience, sometimes give them space, right? Because that's the only way you can deal with them rather than sitting there arguing with them and drawing yourself down and continuing to feed them being in a down or low place. Go ahead and give them that space when you need to, family. Just walk away. Tell them peace, love, respect, and build with them when you can, and always continue to give them that love because anybody can change, anybody can heal themselves, right, from such a condition. So yeah, in the meantime, you know, just always support one another. That's where I'm at right now. Why do we need to tear each other down? What does that ever accomplish, right? So always support one another, build one another up. Um, and like I said, these are your family, right? These are your friends. These are your associates. These are people who you'd rather get along with. So, you know, I've even found it just with time. I've been in situations where eventually I've saw a person just grow out of that. I've grown out of a lot in my life, so certainly I can expect that of the next person that in time and when they're mature enough, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, then they will mature and grow as well. Sometimes people just need a little space to do that, but they also need the support to get that done when they need it. So give it as best you can. Just protect yourself, your energy, by being very willing to give them space when they need it. At least that's my recommendation. Otherwise, just be, cognizant that this is a real thing, right? And look out for energy vampirism. Don't let it be something that affects you. If you find yourself um, in a low resonant state, uh, you know, pick yourself up with peace, love, respect. Treat yourself good. Love yourself, right? You deserve it. Peace, love, respect. King Sadiq.